After around a year of her being out, it is clear to me now that Lady Alexandra is ruining the game. And it's clear to me now more than ever that something needs to change. I want to go over a couple of things related to her. I want to go over why she's so important for everyone, how long it takes to get her, the main issues with Lady Alexandra as a whole, and most importantly, how to fix her issue. Now, this is a very complicated topic that a lot of people are divided on. So I really encourage you guys to watch the whole video and hear me out before you form any opinions one way or the other. I want to go over it a little bit more impartially and then propose some solutions at the end, of course. So without further ado, let's get into it. First of all, why is Lady Alexandra so important? Well, she is one of the strongest units in the whole game. The best way I could explain her is she is if Silas and Idril had a baby. It is insanely crazy how strong she is. She can hit basically everyone on the map. She can hit multiple times. And what ends up happening is she becomes one of the strongest units in most new content to the point where she's actually required for some things now, which is kind of interesting. Insane single target damage, and she does so much single target damage that it actually ends up being kind of AoE damage because, of course, she hits multiple targets. She is incredibly good. Now, where is she good though? Me saying she's good doesn't really do anything. What are the main areas she's good in? Number one, GVG. GVG currently is very hard to defend. It is incredibly hard to defend in guild versus guild. But if you have Lady Alexandra, you can make it work. Yimmerit, incredibly strong, and Lady Alex, incredibly strong. These are two of the strongest units that really make or break a defense. If you don't have them, you're not going to be able to make anything. So she's incredibly powerful there. Another area of the game is Arena. Anti-air Arena, she is the single best unit in the entire game. Simply, Diao-chan has a case, but Lady Alexandra is the strongest DPS for anti-air. Simply. She's also usable. I've seen some very strong Overlord to Apex Overlord teams in single target arena and in AoE. She's good in all of them. Basically, borderline required in Apex of anti-air. Now, some other areas. She's the most meta unit in Mother of Crows. You can do SSS with no Beelzebub if you have Lady A. If you do not have Lady A, it is not possible, right? There's a lot of different things. She basically enables things and enables you to use substitutions. And without her, you cannot make substitutions. That's kind of how I think of her in a lot of areas, similar to the new tower mode that came out, stuff like that. And perhaps the most popular example of her being useful is in Gear 3. Gear 3 23 without her is very difficult. If you have no Yovar, it is practically impossible. She's the only unit in the game which allows a no Yovar strategy to work, at least right now. She's incredibly good, and for stage 24, she is currently required. Now, I do assume that with better gear systems and stuff that come out in the future, she will slowly phase out of being required, but currently she is required, and this really is the inciting incident that sparked the Lady A debate. She is one of the single strongest units in the game, and every single piece of new content that comes out will most likely make her very strong as well. She's that good. I don't think there's any way you can make her not good in the future. So, with that out of the way, how do you even get her? Well, she is the dedicated arena reward. She is functionally the only reason to farm for arena. Arena has been a generally disliked mode in Watcher of Realms. It's just very hard to make a good arena, but because Lady Alexandra is so good, she provides a reason to farm arena. But she's a little pricey. Now she does cost 40,000 Apex Arena coins. Every single soulstone to get awakenings on her is going to be 50,000 coins. To get these Apex coins, you're going to have to get them in two different ways. One of them is Apex Overlord, Overlord, and Plat 3 will give a certain amount after the end of the week, depending on your placement at the end of the week. For Apex, it is 1,500. For Overlord, it is a mere 400. And for Plat 3, it is 200. This is what you're going to get. And this is not the only way to get them. What you can do is you can also get them from winning in Overlord or Apex Overlord. Overlord is going to give you 10 Apex coins, and Apex Overlord is going to give you a whopping 35 Apex coins per win. Now, let's bring up the calculator to calculate these things. So, for this, let's take 40,000 Apex coins, and let's assume that you are in Apex Overlord, which is top 300. We can divide it by 35. It would take you 1,142 wins in order to get Lady Alexandra if you are winning every single fight in Apex. Now, this is very unrealistic, but let's just say you get 35 coins. Generally, you can get around 20 arena permits a day if you are buying them with gems. So let's divide it by 20. It is going to take you at least 50 days, if not more, assuming a 100% win rate in the highest rank, top 300. We are assuming that it takes you 2 whole months. Now, this is obviously quite unrealistic. We can also kind of assume that you're not going to win that often. So let's take the 40,000. Let's divide it by 35. Takes you 1,000 wins. Let's also assume that you're only winning 70% of the time. Now, 70% is still a very high win ratio, but let's calculate that. So we're going to get 70% of this, and that means that it would take you 1,600 permits in order to get Lady Alexandra. Divided by another 20, because you get on average 20 a day if you're spending some gems, and it would still take you almost 3 months to get it if you stay in Apex. But top 300 is unrealistic for most of the player bases, especially because you need her now for simply PvE content. So let's take the 40,000, let's divide it by 10, which is the amount of Apex coins you get for Overlord. This is going to be 4,000. Now, divide it by 20, once again, it would take you 200 days, winning 100% of your fights in Overlord to get her, simply. And then you take in factors like 70% win rate. It takes you almost a year. This is if you are grinding it every day. You're buying permits every day. It takes you so long to get her. And this unfortunately brings me to the problem with Lady Alexandra. And that is that it isn't just that she takes time. Her being a grind is not the issue. I think it's what a lot of people are bringing up. I know a lot of people are saying that she should be free, she should be given out. That's unrealistic. That's bad if they do that. At the core, this is the only reason to play Arena, and she needs to be a grind because she's so good. The issue with Lady Alexandra is it is way too hard to get to Apex Overlord. Simply, top 300 is not enough to even be eligible to farm for Lady Alexandra. You must have gear of a 2-year-old account. You must have every single essential unit A5 or close. And you must have the time to push to get the Apex. Because Apex is so hard to hit now. That is the biggest issue. And even another issue with this is the gap between Apex Overlord and Overlord is simply too big when it comes to Apex coin acquisition. That is the main issue here. It is not that it is a grind, it is that 99.999% of players cannot even hope to be eligible to commit months of their life to grind her. That is it. I have played this game for almost 2 years. I have spent over $1,000 and I have gotten multiple $1,000s worth of diamonds for content creator rewards. I have a good account. I cannot hit Apex Arena in a single arena. For anti-air, you need Lady Alexandra to push it, or you need to be one of the strongest accounts in the entire game. I counted top 200 of Apex in anti-air last week had 174 Lady Alexandra teams in the top 200. That is almost all of Apex. The fact that you need Lady Alexandra to even farm in the quote unquote easiest Apex arena is insane. You need Yovar, you need Lady Alex, you need Yuri otherwise. You need so many things and they have to be awakened. AoE, you need an awakening grid or an awakened chaotic team. No other way to do it. They have to be high awakenings or you are going to crash and burn. And you need such specific units. If you do not have even one of the units, like a Ymir, like an Ingrid, you're not even going to stand a chance. And then single target, you need awakenings on your Valderon. You need A5 Wukong. You need Sargek or Ardea. You need Yao Chen. You need all of this stuff to even be eligible to attempt to grind it. It is such a big problem with Arena right now that it is functionally impossible to push for Lady Alexandra now. That is the biggest issue right now. It is not that it requires a grind. It is not that she is strong in content. It is that she is unattainable to even put an effort to get her. People who have her already simply do not have to deal with the worse arena, the harder to push arena. The player base has expanded to a point where 300 slots in an Apex arena is simply too little. And the coins are essentially useless in Overlord currently. So, with all this out of the way, how do you fix the Lady Alexandra problem? Well, I have a couple propositions to make. Now, I have sent these over to the developers and they are looking over them. They have proposed a couple changes to me. I told them that they need to reconsider because they were not good. Basically, what I told them is a few things. I told them the same thing I'm telling you guys. The Apex Arena slots are too finite. I told them to raise it to 500, maybe even 750 Apex Overlord slots. Since Apex has come out, since Lady Alexandra has come out, the amount of players that are in a position to push for Apex are simply over double what they used to be. There are too many people pushing for it right now for it to maintain this difficult. So I think they should raise it to 750 or similar. And over time, as it seems like the player base grows, they should also increase the amount of overlords, Apex Overlord slots even more. That is the first thing I proposed. The second thing is to lower the gap between Apex Overlord and Overlord in a few ways. First of all, they should, increase Apex Overlord coins just to make it a bit easier. But they should also really, really, really increase Overlord's coin gain. Right here on the season rewards, instead of 400, it should be tripled, 1,200 a week. Also, whenever you win an Overlord, 10 coins versus 35 in Apex is unrealistic. It is almost a 4x increase for Apex. We need them to increase the coins from 10 to 20 or even more for wins in Overlord. Right now, Overlord feels garbage. It feels like there is no point to farm it because it's such a big gap that there's just no point. It takes you friggin' a year if you're winning almost all your fights and you're grinding every day. So, we need more coins there as well. Also, Plat 3 should get a couple coins, something like 3 coins a win. Now, moving on, we also finally need to make Lady Alexandra a little bit cheaper for the first copy. 40,000 coins is currently too many. They should lower it to 30,000. They should lower it to 20,000. It doesn't really matter what it is, as long as it is low. Currently, 40,000 coins is way too big of a commitment, especially considering her importance. So we need it lowered. Now, if they lower it from 40k to 30k, they can reimburse everyone who already has her 10,000 coins. They should leave her awakenings the same, so there's still a reason to grind, even once you have her. And also, her awakenings are really good, so you're going to want to farm them anyways. So, what have we learned? Well, we need to change things in a way where the grind is attainable to even try to go for. We need to make the grind a little bit faster by increasing the amount of coin gain. while also making it easier to accumulate the coins and making it less of a gap. And then we just simply need to make her cheaper because the way that this game works, we're going to need her now, and there's no way that she could ever be nerfed. So that is what I propose. Please let me know if you guys agreed with me in the comments what you would do instead. At the end of the day, Lady Alexandra is meant to be a grind. She's way too strong to give away willy nilly. She needs to have a significant amount of time spent getting her, but she needs to be a unit that you actually can go for. And currently, that's not possible. And I think that's the biggest issue. 324 requiring her really opened people's eyes, but I think people are too much one way or the other. This is the only change they have to make. They just have to make those changes, and then they don't really have to touch it again. That is my proposition. That is what I have come to the conclusion for. And I sincerely hope that they will take action. They are definitely thinking about it. They've talked to me about it a little bit, about some of the changes that they're thinking of, and some things that they're most likely going to do. But I really think they need to take a little bit more drastic measures in order to keep things going smoothly. Because currently, l- this game has a big Lady Alexander problem, and it needs to be solved as soon as possible. That's it for me. This has been Destined. Thank you guys for watching, and Destined signing out.